There we go.
Now presenting Channeling Erik's Hour of Enlightenment.
Y'all, seriously, I thought they forgot my intro. It was like I heard Jeopardy music playing in my head. Ding, 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 ding. All right, you guys, welcome to the show. For you guys who don't know, and I assume there are not very many, this show is about mostly Erik Met, who's my son, who died a few years ago, and he usually shares some insight on how to get through the human experience, which is often a roller coaster ride. But this time we actually have a very special guest. His name is Jamin Olivencia. He's going to discuss, well, we'll let it flow, but he's going to discuss the shift that's happening now so that we can deeply understand that what we're experiencing is simply for our growth. So we're not really supposed to get too caught up in the details where it detours our lives. So let me read a personal message from him. Hello, my name is Jamin Olivencia. At the age of 17, I set across the country, chasing my childhood dreams of becoming a professional wrestler, not realizing that my toughest opponent was me. Chasing these dreams taught me how to dig deep spiritually, not only as a performer, but more importantly, as a person. And once I found ways to attain peace within myself, I felt a need that was bigger than just myself, to use this new perspective to help as many people as possible, to simply be a daily reminder, a daily reminder that we all have struggles, a daily reminder that we all want to grow and become our own person, and a daily reminder that we all need each other to do it, and that's so important. Humans need connection. That's what we're all about. So my hope, he says, on this show is to tune you into what's in front of you, to understand that all matters that are in front of us is a projection of ourselves, an opportunity for growth. Time is precious. Use it wisely. And then after he shares his insight with us, we are going to take callers. But without further ado, I want to introduce Jamin Olivencia. Hi, Jamin.
Hey, Lisa. Hey, Kim. Hey, Erik. How is everyone doing today?
Welcome.
I'm doing
We're
great.
Doing awesome.
Amazing. Thanks for having me on the show again. Always appreciate the time. And it's cool to talk about this subject, the shift, you know. I believe that everything we're experiencing is a direct reflection of ourselves. So the things that make us angry, the things that make us happy, the external circumstances we see that make us angry or happy, family members, people, strangers, you name it, everything. This moment right now, let's take this moment for instance. This is for our evolution, is it not? Because if we weren't supposed to be experiencing this moment, well then guess what, guys? We just wouldn't be here. So I find great value in really looking at what's in front of you in order to achieve, I guess you could say, a sense of peace. Not saying it's always going to be, you know, flowers and sunny days and all that, but at the same time, if we're experiencing this moment, good or bad, then it has to be for our growth, and that's something we should find value in more than cherry picking and devaluing certain things.
So it's not always Skittles, unicorns, and rainbows, huh?
No, absolutely not. You know, I think one of the interesting things, this is my opinion too, I'm not saying this is the truth, but what I've found so far is that no matter how spiritual you are, or no matter how disciplined you are in certain areas in your life, I always believe there's got to be a polarity, something to challenge you, especially if you're the type of person that's constantly stepping into the unknown, looking for growth. You know, some of us are in our routines, so when we're in a routine, we kind of become not conscious about the opportunities of growth within them because it just seems like a routine. But some people who are like really like tuned in to what's in front of them can find the opportunity of growth in each and every single second. Because right now, I would say that as my voice is speaking, as we're all sitting here together, as our listeners are all together, we are throwing a pebble into the water, and it creates a ripple effect. And so, therefore, everything that you're experiencing, whether it's your thoughts, listening to me, or just your beingness and wherever you are creating a ripple effect that is going to help be consistent in that next moment. So then the question becomes, what is predominant in your mind? What is predominant in your beingness? How are you being? Most of us say we're doing the things that we're not doing. So I think there's got to be truth, too, to yourself when looking at the now, you can say, from this perspective.
So can you explain that again, that we have to be true to ourselves?
Yeah, absolutely. Being true to ourselves gives us an opportunity to grow, because most of us, let's put it this way, most of us go out in our daily lives, and there's some people we can be we can be ourselves with, and then there's other people, we'll say it's like a boss at work or something, where you're not fully yourself. And what I mean by being truthful with yourself is actually being who you are in every single moment, not having this worry or this concern with how people are going to think about you or feel about you. See, that's all fear-based. And so when you start stepping onto that side...
I know, we're all afraid of judgment. We're so afraid of judgment. Yeah. Well, what can judgment really do to us? It's not like a big barbed whip across our back. Seriously, we're eternal beings. What's the worst that can happen?
That would be, you would say that's someone who what you just said right there is awesome, because that's the whole idea of accepting what is around you too. So if we're constantly scared of what's the world around us, then golly gee, we're going to be constantly in a state of trying to quote unquote survive. We're always going to be trying to win in some way, like it's a game. And the whole idea is that every day is a new sheet of paper. So we're writing whatever we want. How many times have you felt mad about something in a day, and then the next day comes, and you're really not that mad, but you'll create the story in your head again and start telling yourself how pissed off you were the night before, just so that you can get back in that state again. There's a sense of comfort there for people. They feel power in this moment. Because they don't want to be themselves. They don't want to look at what they fear. Most of us don't ever want to talk about it. I can say something really messed up to somebody, and if I also at the same time, okay, I say something mean to somebody, okay, and then after I say something mean because maybe I had a moment about something else that maybe I was insecure, who knows, instead of going back and apologizing to the person, they don't say anything at all. So now you've created an energy block. Now there's no peace. But how many times in your life have you, and I'm sure a lot of us have in certain circumstances, actually went up to the person and said, hey, you know what, I'm just sorry for being a dick. You know what I mean? And when you do that, you're like cutting energy free. You're releasing more love out. It is powerful. Who doesn't feel that?
Yeah, it's a relief. I love apologizing, and I have to do it a lot. I step on my words often.
I think to build on that, too, when you're in truth, you can own your own shit. I mean, you can say, yep, I screwed up, I was a jackass. But when you're in ego, you can't, because ego doesn't even exist, so it can't take that responsibility. It has to project it. It has to blame. So I think when you're actually existing in truth, you can take that. And that's what, that, too, is what is so powerful about it. And Erik is saying, too, like, just to build on what Jamin was saying.
Hey, somebody is breathing into the phone real loudly. One of you guys.
I know, I can hear
Maybe
it, too.
Maybe it's me. Okay.
I can hear it, too. But, Erik, he kind of wants to build on what Jamin was saying, that, because I was kind of asking Erik while Jamin was talking, like, why is that? Why do we rehash shitty situations 10 times more than we rehash fantastic, fun situations?
Yes. Yeah.
And he's like, well, he says, because in a shitty, fucked up situation, you're out of control and you don't like it, so you rehash and regurgitate it 20 fucking times so you can feel like you're in control of it. So you dissect it a million times. And he says, well, when something feels good, you let it pass on by because, well, I don't feel out of control with it, so there's no resistance. And so we kind of regurgitate that, and we go back, too, to try to feel like we're in control of it. That's the insecurity of the untrue self. Like Jamin was talking, you have to be in truth to be able to move past that. So, great.
Well, Jamie,
great
can you talk more about this shift?
Yeah, the shift right now, if you guys haven't noticed it yet, and I'll ask anybody to really look at it, look where you're at right now in your life. Actually look at everything around you, whether it's the television, whether it's the people, whether it's just your own house. Look at everything that's around you. Everything that's around you, once again, from my perspective, is a projection of me. So the things that you see, let's use television as an example. Let's use the media as an example. We look at media. Well, right, right. I don't want to open up this can of worms, but let's look at the situation of how people feel. There's a collective energy of people feeling bad from some sense, whether it's on one side or the other side. There's a collectiveness of everyone feeling bad. And what that really points out to me is that everyone has such a strong reaction to the things that they see around them, because somewhere inside them, and this is going back to being honest with yourself, you are just like them. So every time you see something that makes you feel ill, you are actually projecting something that you are seeing a projection of yourself. And most of the times what we do is, I think it's a defense mechanism kind of. We get mad at it. And when we get mad at it, from my opinion, we're strengthening that even more within ourselves.
Yeah.
We're strengthening that, which is why the divide always still stays the same.
And that's why
we have that primitive response of the amygdala, that primitive part of our brain that constantly wants to survive. And by survival, very often it means defending ourselves. For example, if somebody cuts us off in traffic, we get pissed off. But if we cut people off in traffic, because we think they're out to get us or they're being such an asshole. But when we cut somebody out, it's, because my son is going to be late to school, or it's circumstances instead of a character flaw.
Right.
Precisely. Like, ask yourself, when you get mad, ask yourself why you're really mad. Somebody, relationships sometimes, people get into fights with each other, and it's over the dumbest things, right? And it's really because of other things. And
the whole
because they're
reason
not
why
handling...
it causes a triggered response is because you're resonating at the same vibrational frequency. If you weren't, it wouldn't affect you. You wouldn't get mad, So we got to be really mindful of when we see these things on social media and it triggers, like we get mad. Well, the reason why it triggers that response, well, one, because we're resonating there and we're plugged into that vibration. So, what you're saying, definitely resonates with me, Jamin. It makes so much sense.
Now, Jamin, I want to share something personal with you. Maybe you can shed some light. After Erik died, I just totally got into being angry at politics. All the, I don't know if it was midterm elections or whatever. I just constantly watched TV and got pissed off. But for some reason, I needed that at the time. I needed to feel angry.
Right. Exactly. That's what I was saying earlier. Like, sometimes life's not going to always be, rainbows and unicorns, like you said. It's not supposed to be. Why are we here? We're not here to just kind of, excuse my language, but fuck off. We're not here to fuck off. We're here to actually feel that stuff, to feel pain, to feel those emotions. And what we do in spirituality sometimes is we focus, this is my opinion, I'm not saying I'm right, once again, but I feel like we focus sometimes on, like, that it's not okay to feel that way. It's like, well, no, I just need to be more positive, which creates what? More anxiety. Because now you're judging yourself once again, instead of actually allowing yourself to feel those things. We need to feel those things. You get pissed off, you have a reaction, that's cool. How fast? I couldn't tell you how many times I've maybe lost my temper, and I couldn't tell you how many times after I lost my temper in certain moments where I apologized to anybody that had to experience that thing that I turned into when I was mad. And what I've discovered is that when you do that, once again, you clear the energy. It feels nice again.
Yes.
And there's more acceptance. And then you have more acceptance for yourself.
Yeah.
So to me, that's being truthful to yourself, being really able to look at your own shit.
Yeah. And you create a connection, and that's what human beings need. You strengthen the connection with that other person when you own up to what you've done to them.
Absolutely. That's what it's about. That's what this now moment is. It's a ripple. What's your ripple effect?
Do you have some tips for the listeners on how to be mindful or identify when things like that are happening? You know, how can they can they be mindful of what's happening in front of them? You know, how have you been able to assert that or pick up on it, see it, and then be mindful of it?
Well, you know, I feel like, well, first off, I'm going to say this. I remember I was a kid. I grew up in special education classes. I got bullied. I was called retarded every day. And so I had this anger inside myself. I thought something was wrong with me. I felt like I wasn't good enough or could be smart enough. So I was always so angry, and I think what helped me get out of that anger is I'll never forget it. My mom one time, this is a technique I'm about to give. My mom one time said to me, she goes, you know, Jamin, you don't have to act this way all the time. And I said, yes, I do, because I feel like this is my way of getting it all out. And she'd say, no. She goes, ask yourself this question. Who do I want to be? First 20 minutes of your day. Ask yourself, who do I want to be? How do I want to make this day go? Whatever you're thinking in the first 20 minutes is going to set the pace of your day. It was just the best advice she ever gave me. And for some reason that stuck with me. She told me a lot of great things, and I never listened. But I listened to that. And so a technique that I would recommend to everybody, first and foremost, because you're not always going to be aware in each and every single moment. You're just not. You're not designed to do that. But if you practice, or if you work that muscle, work that compassion muscle, or that love muscle for yourself, you will start to see what I'm talking about. So we start the day off. When I get up in the day, first thing I do is start thinking about, like, what my intention is. It's like, okay, what do you want to do today, man? Today I'm going to go and help as many people as possible. I don't care if I run into somebody on the street. I don't care if it's the cashier at the gas station. Anybody I touch, I'm going to make sure it's just going to be extremely positive and fun. And sometimes I look like a nut to people. I know that. But I also know at the same time that it's working, because people always get inspired. Instead of, most people say, hey, how you doing today? And some of us go, okay. But even if you felt like that, what if you just tried, hey, I'm doing awesome? You bring an enthusiasm to the table. Bring an enthusiasm to even how you feel. If you feel like shit, okay, great. Now see how you can put an enthusiasm behind it. Because when you get enthusiastic a little bit, it becomes more funny than serious. You know, life is not that serious. And I think that's something we all need to look at. So really understanding the idea that when you wake up, start saying the things to yourself, like, who am I? You know, and if you're not the person that talks out loud, then do it in your mind. You know, it's up to you. But most of the time, the first 20 minutes of everyone's day, they're saying, I don't want to get up. Got to go to work. I got to make the coffee. And they're saying these things, and it's in such a lousy tone to themselves that to me it's a thing of, like, it's like you're not excited. Like, we should be excited that we're alive every day. How many close calls have some of us had in life where maybe it was a car accident or, you know, and how did you feel after those experiences? You're like, okay, hold on. I want to be here. Do you know what I mean?
I know. I was almost killed by a serial killer and got away, thank God. And I'm so grateful. I wouldn't have my family. I wouldn't have my children. If he asked me, well, what do you do for a living, before he was trying to kill me? And he said, well, I'm a physician and I'm a instructor, black belt in karate. So he just slowly moved away. Then I saw him on TV. He was caught as a serial killer. It's creepy.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
That's scary. You flipped me on my ass on that one.
So I'm happy to be alive, boy. I'm telling you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you feel that panic. You feel that moment. You know. You think about those things.
It does. It shifts everything. If you've had moments like that where you're like, you know what, this actually might be it. Dang, does that give you perspective and shift the way you actually live? I remember I was over-medicated, and I actually got C. diff from being over-medicated.
Oh, that's awful. Yeah.
Yes, it was. And I actually went into shock at home because we didn't know why I was so sick. and rushed to the hospital. And by the time I got there, I was in septic shock, and it was really frightening. I mean, it was really frightening. I was convulsing, and they were afraid, that they couldn't get everything in my body was out of whack when you look at, blood numbers and all that stuff. And so I actually laid in bed, and this was back in 2009. I was in the hospital for 10 days. And, I lost like 18 pounds in that week. And I remember thinking, this might be it. They couldn't get my fever down. They couldn't get, my kidneys were starting to shut down. And it was really scary. So then you begin to think, well, crap, have I been living the way I want to? Have I been laughing and enjoying? Just like you said, it's not... Don't take life too seriously. Don't take yourself so seriously sometimes. You got to laugh at life, laugh at yourself. And sometimes it sucks when it takes moments like that to realize that. But if you can look at the silver lining in it, you get out on top. But hopefully you guys don't have to go through experiences like that to get your perspective shift.
Before we take callers, Damon, are there any other tips you want to share with our listeners?
Yeah. I want to also make people be aware that if you're feeling like panicked about something, just take deep breaths during the day. Like wherever you are, if you're at work, you're in front of a computer or whatever, just take some deep breaths. Like when you start taking some deep breaths, you heighten your awareness, you raise your vibration. Another quick note.
That's true. That puts you in the now. It really does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does. It's like it's proven. But most of us, we say we do it, but we really don't do it. That's what going back to being truthful with yourself. In that now moment, being truthful is the truth sets you free. They say that, right? So I just believe to really just kind of put a close on it all is understand that right now what's cool is to be what's in. Back in, Elisa, probably back in your parents' day, they came up in a very fearful society. So a lot of those traits have, were around for many years. And now what's happening, in my opinion, is that it's almost cool to be nice to people than be the asshole. Well, back in the day, it seemed cooler to be in a fearful state than to be in a very positive state. So remember that today. Look around you, watch what's going on, and if you can be that person that can choose not to follow what you see all the time and actually believe it in your heart what you are, and you project that, you will see change slowly happen. I don't really see that much pain around me. I just don't. I think it's all for the betterment of everyone. That's why we're seeing what we're seeing, and it's our opportunity to grow from it. So that's what I'll say.
Well, I think you've got to go out there and choose. What do you want to live your life in, fear or love? Those are your two options.
Pretty simple.
Yeah, and when you guys choose, when you make that choice, it really, just like Jamin has been saying, it defines what you experience because everything's a projection of you. It's a reflection of you, and so be with intent to be in love and compassion and gratitude, and that's what you'll experience. But you have those people with kind of stuck in that cynicism mindset, and then that's what they experience in the world is just cynicism and calloused hearts. So it's you'll experience where you resonate. So be really mindful and intentful. So thanks, Jamin, for the awesome perspective.
This is awesome, Jamin. So maybe everybody should wake up in the morning, and the first thing they might want to do is think of 1 to 3 things they're grateful for in their personal life, 1 to 3 things they're grateful for in their work, and 1 to 3 things that they are grateful for about themselves.
Get
and
excited.
That might change that 20 minutes. Yes, enthusiasm. All right, well, thank you, Jamin.
Thank you, guys.
And maybe you can help some of our callers, so please stay on. Now I want to give a big shout-out to liveparanormal.com for hosting our radio show. Always love these guys, and their shows are amazing. Check them out. This is not the only show they have, trust me. Now we're going to take our first caller. Remember, there's only 1 question per caller, please, because we want to try to get in as many callers as we can. First is from the 904 area code. 904 area code. Hi, how are you? What's your first name, and where are you calling from?
My name is Jeannie. I'm calling from Jacksonville.
Hi,
awesome.
Jeannie from Jacksonville. What you got for Erik?
Hi, Erik. Wow, you guys are great. I can't believe I'm talking to you guys.
I'm glad you are.
Erik,
Glad you're on the show.
Me too. Everything has just been falling apart for a very, very long time, and I can't seem to keep a job. I'm living in a town that I don't know anyone. I've been here 2 years alone with my daughter. She's 7 years old. I don't know where I'm going from here. I feel like I'm falling. What's happening to me?
Okay. First of all, Erik is like greeting everybody listening. He's just blowing kisses. He's being really gentle, really kind of gentle and soft in his approach and his tender approach. But before we even take one step further, he must greet his mother. He says, "I love you,
Hi,
Mom."
baby. I love you. I already talked to you today. You visited me
so
today.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And he greets Jamin. He has to greet Jamin. He says, "Keep kicking ass, man."
Thanks, dude.
All right. First, okay, there's a lot that Erik wants to address here. And he's talking really fast because he has a lot to say. Let's look at everything we just talked about. Your mindset, it's really hard when you're in it to not become it, he says, no matter what it is. So if you feel like, things just aren't going your way over and over and over, when you're in that state, he's like, listen, I get it. It's hard to not become it and not think that, like everything's falling apart. Nothing seems to be coming together or working. It just doesn't feel right. For one, you have to acknowledge what you feel, and he'll go a little bit further on that in just a second. Two, he says, probably more importantly, you have to acknowledge what you're creating. Even if we think we're open-minded to whatever, we try. If we try from a place of so he says, he wants me to say this, but he says, if we try from a place of fear or disbelief, we perpetuate those circumstances. They continue to happen. But with you, I think it's more, what he's saying is it's more about you're feeling defeated before you even begin. So like there are times when people get to this state where they give up, or they feel like giving up because they feel like they've tried and they've tried and they've tried. But even when you do try over and over, you have to align in belief too, that something will change or that things will change and be in accordance to your abundance, like to your benefit. But if
so you not only have to try, you have to believe it can happen. You have to have the intent, the belief. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly,
Erik?
because he's saying that's the mismatch. That's where we're not lined up. He says because you try, but it's the feeling of like, well, I'm going to try again, but it's probably just going to turn out like this or like that. So
exactly.
Feeling defeated before you even begin, and this is probably more subconscious. That's just perpetuating the circumstances. And I don't know how old your daughter is, or I think you said her age, but I don't remember. But
7.
He says that
7.
Okay, she's picking up on and she's feeling your vibes. So I wouldn't be surprised if you're starting to see her feel like things are out of sort, or talk about things just feeling, out of sort or unhappy, because I think she's really starting to pick up what you're putting out there. So be mindful of that. But he says any change you want to create, you have to believe in it first. You can't just say it, which we all do. What does that look like? What does it feel like? He says it's a matter of aligning with the emotional reality of that change. Let's say it's a new job, and you're really wanting this job. Well, you have to bring in and embody that emotional awareness, the reality of it. Emotions act
what do you
as
mean?
amplifiers. He says that.
What do you mean?
He says emotions amplify an experience. So let's say, for example, it's this job you're trying to get because, you've been out of work, money's tight, and whatever. So let's say you applied for a job, and now you have an interview, and you're waiting. So now skip the interview. He's talking about in your head and in your heart, and go to the place of, imagining them offering you the job. What does that
and
feel
the
like?
emotions you feel. Imagine feel the emotions that go along with that success.
Yeah, with whatever you want. He's like, if you want to travel more, what does that feel like emotionally? Does it feel like freedom? Does it feel intimidating and vulnerability? Align with the emotional reality, and you'll manifest that reality. But if you put it out there and envision it, but you still doubt it at any level, it won't happen, because it's like I think for you, it's like you can't see yourself. You have a hard time visualizing yourself in the space of what you want. And if it's difficult for you, you have to get back in the heart space and not the head. I think you're getting tripped up with the head saying, well, yeah, but if this works out, then it might not work out like that, or might have to change this around in my life. So when we try to figure things out, sometimes we just fuck it up even worse. Sorry for the language.
Well, are there any practical things she can do? For example, should she move? Should she find a different job? Should she, join some sort of group? What practical advice can you give her, Erik? Because what you gave are wonderful, but they're very, intangible.
He says, definitely stop trying to figure it out. But I think ultimately, I feel like you could stay there as long as you wanted and meditate as much as you want based on what Erik is showing. And I don't know that you're going to feel a connection where you are. It's a vibrational thing. It's a resonance thing. You either resonate with it or you don't. And I think wherever you are geographically, you're not vibing with. You're not on the same level. So I think
she should move.
Encouraging, if you have an opportunity to move, I think it would be in your best interest for your fulfillment, for your happiness. But be patient, he says. Be patient with yourself.
Is there any place that looks good for moving?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
He says he doesn't really suggest anything. That's up to you, because it's going for you. You're going to gauge that around your family, like your daughter, your family. You're going to gauge that in that direction, and he's even going on to talking about you being close to family. I don't know if you are now or not, but he's trying to pull you close to family. That's important, he says, because I feel like you need the support. You need a support system, he says. So I don't know if you have a lot of friends or family around you, but he's trying to build that up. So he's saying that that's needed.
Okay, that's good. That's very good advice.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeannie.
You're welcome. I hope it helps.
Thank you very much.
Call back if you need to, okay?
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Sure. Okay.
So
it's hard
sweet.
being a single mom.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take somebody.
Defeated.
Oh, gosh, yeah, defeated before you even try sometimes. Here's one from the 727 area code. Let's see who we have here. Hi there.
Hi. My name is Carol, and I'm calling from the Tampa Bay, Florida area.
Oh, how are you doing? I love Tampa Bay area. It's beautiful. The sand there is awesome.
But I want to thank you guys for being on YouTube, because that's how I found you. And I have been listening now for about a year, almost a year.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love it.
Thank you.
It's so informative, and I've shared it with friends. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome.
I have a question for Erik.
Sure.
I'm looking to relocate, and my concerns are about the weather patterns, things that are going to seem to be happening in the United States right now. So I'm looking into like Tennessee, Texas, or the Carolinas, or New Mexico. And I visited all these places this year, and I just, does he have any insights about what's going on with the land?
Okay. First, when I ask him if he can recommend a place where you would be happy, he he lists all those places that you named, and he circles Tennessee.
Okay.
When you say what's going on with the land, wow, this is so cool. Sometimes he just dives in so deep, so fast, and gives this information that you just don't even expect. He says the earth is the most alive thing you'll ever be able to experience. This is trippy a little bit. He actually says the earth is more alive than you are.
Wow.
So this is something I'm going to have to explore with him because I've never heard him say that before. But what he's saying is, so the earth itself, the land, is absorbing us and our vibrations, our output. You know, it's a much higher vibration, so it can transmute everything, anything, he says. But he's showing the land, you know, locally in different areas being affected by its local state of like a collective consciousness. Or, but not even just the consciousness, but like the physical shit, he says. Like the shit that people do. Wow, this is like making me feel like a horrible species, because he says look at humans even versus animals. You know, there may be some animals and critters that are not necessarily harmful to the environment, but look at humans versus animals and how much more harm we cause to the earth than animals. So we have to begin to be mindful in that, because we are destroying our own resources, he says. So the land is responding to our energetic output, like the land, the earth, the air, everything's responding to us, because we are so powerful with our thoughts and with our emotions. And this is really scary. He says, like with us, like more than half of us being asleep or subconscious beings, unconscious, he says that's probably the worst weapon out there. He calls it like a weapon, or the worst thing to, not necessarily fear, but that type of person can do the most damage, or that type of thing. He calls the humans that are asleep a thing. That thing can cause the most damage.
Well, is Tennessee, why does he circle Tennessee?
He says for her it's the woods. Like I don't know if there's I would imagine there's thick brush, thick woods. He's showing this being really like creating peace, like really serene for you, because I think you need to get away, and it's a change of scenery too. You need the silence of the woods. So I think that you're going to, but also like you need to get out in it, like hiking or camping or something. So
watch out for them bears.
It's not just a scenery change; it's a lifestyle change too. Like you're going to change your hobbies. So I think Tennessee is going to provide more than what you probably even have looked into at this point.
That's awesome. I hope that helps.
I do. You know, just real quick, my friend is a truck driver, so I was able this year to travel a lot. And when we were going all across the country, when I walked on the land, I just said, I'm sorry, and I love you, and just sending positive, loving energy to the land to have it respond.
That's good.
And it resonates. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Erik.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thanks for calling.
Thank you for calling in. Yeah.
You guys are
what a loving person to think Mother Earth like that. We always take her for granted.
Could you imagine if more of us did that?
I know. Here's somebody from the 206 area code. How you doing? What's your first name and where are you calling from?
Yes, hi. This is Freddie from Seattle.
Hey, Freddie from Seattle. What's up?
I have a very simple question. He can answer with yes or no.
Okay.
Are we connected to a matrix or to a supercomputer? And the dollar will disappear. The dollar will disappear within the next 8 months. And why the space between the sun and the earth is dark.
Well,
and cold.
we only get only get one question. Which question would you like to ask? Because there's only one per customer.
But very easy questions. Yes or no? Thank you. I will hear the answers.
Erik says he wants to answer the matrix question. Are we connected by a matrix? Yes.
Matrix?
A computer, no. He says a matrix, yes. But he says if you want to call it a computer, the computer behind it is our mind. But the matrix being like just the universal pool of energy, that's the matrix that we're all in. It's like a big web. He's showing it like this big web that we're all a part of. And if you want to say there's a computer behind it, the computer is our brain, like our mind, our thoughts.
And we manipulate that matrix to create a reality?
No.
Can I say something?
Erik says, he kind of backs up and he goes, what do you need me for?
Jamie wants to chime in. Good. Yeah, I don't know. Well, Jamie, what would you like to add?
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. It's such a cool. It got my nerves going. But like, you take a glow stick, and it's just a stick, and you wave it around in a circle. Now, what you see is a circle, correct? Even though it's a stick, you see a circle. Now, look at life that way. Everything you're experiencing, everything in front of your eyes, seems like the circle, but it's just a stick. Does that make sense?
Wow, you just blew my mind, man.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you. I don't know if our caller's still with us, but I got you.
The dollar will fall within the next 8 months. The dollar will disappear within the next 8 months.
The dollar?
The dollar will disappear within the next 8 months.
Oh, gosh, I can't imagine. Eric, is the dollar going to disappear?
Within the next 8 months?
Erik keeps shaking his head no. He doesn't say anything or elaborate.
Okay, and why the space between the sun and the earth is dark and cold?
Okay, well, Freddie, we have to get to other callers. I'm sorry. Thank you. Call back. You have some very interesting questions, so that's awesome.
Yeah, I think he called in last week, didn't he? Or the week before, maybe.
You know, might be. All right. He was the one that asked if the sun is really hot, I think. Sounds familiar. All right. Here's one from the 505 area code. Hi there. How are you? Welcome to the show.
Hi. This is Hattie from Colorado.
Hey.
Welcome.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. My question is, are there any messages for me? Does Erik have any messages for me?
Yeah, actually, he got really soft and mushy. He says he calls you sweetheart, and he has his hand on your back. He's trying to show an image of his hand on your back. He says, sweetheart, if there's any message for you to rest with tonight, it's to soften your heart, because I think recent experiences or recent circumstances have probably caused like walls to go up around your heart, and I don't know if you're feeling withdrawn or kind of like back up people, like I need my space, but he's showing you like to soften your heart and let the walls down, let people in. You can let them in as much as you need to or much as you want to. Just remain intact with your discernment. That's all you ever need. So he says to like soften your heart, like let the walls down. I don't know if someone has like recently offended you, betrayed you, hurt you, but it's like I feel like you're on guard. It could just be in general, just always on guard. So he's encouraging you to let your walls down and let people in, because then of course people will say, well, why should I let people in? That's dangerous, that's risky. He said it's only dangerous and risky if your discernment isn't intact, because then you lose sense of who you are.
What do you mean by discernment being intact, Erik?
Like being aware of it, like being aware of who you are, I guess, like your thoughts, your beliefs. You don't have to be so pinned down with them and defined by them, but at least have your own opinion or sense of self-awareness in something. Because if you let something or someone else come in and change you and completely define you, then you're not really in your true self. So I hope that makes sense to you. But he's really, if anything, he's just encouraging you to like soften your heart.
Okay, that makes
Erik,
sense.
can you hang out with her and help her from time to time?
That'd be
Hey,
great.
says, yeah, I got this because I know what it's like. It's hard to trust people sometimes, and that's where she's at.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks for calling.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, here's somebody from the 404 area code. Hi, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hear you.
Hi.
Oh my god. Okay, first just let me say, I told myself, I was like, there's no way they're going to pick me. And then I was like, okay, let me just step into faith and just believe that they're going to pick me. And then I was the next one.
Awesome. That's all it takes. Jamie would agree with that.
Yeah.
Taking advantage of them now.
Right.
There we go.
Exactly. And thank you so much for the website, because this website, it helps me out so much. It just keeps me positive throughout the day. Yeah.
Thank you.
I just want to ask, thank you. What is my spiritual mission? Because a lot of times I just feel so lost, and I've just been like having a hard time keeping a job and just finding like passion in life and just like my calling. Just kind of know what his opinion or advice would be for like my spiritual mission.
Okay. Ooh, good one.
He loves your question. He wants Jamin to talk about this one for a second, but he wants to say, first of all, he loves your question because he can expand this to apply to everyone listening. He says, first, I want to tell you, if you're in a place where you feel like you don't know your mission, you don't know your calling or your purpose, just be still. He says, just be still and be with yourself, because if we can't be still and we get fixated on what we're to do, then, and if we don't know what to do and we're confused in that, we don't know where to move forward, then we kind of freak out. We become paranoid, he says. We carry the weight of the world on our shoulders in the meantime when we feel stuck or not, when we don't know what to do. So he wants all of you guys listening to think about that if you're in that space. And he actually wants Jamin to speak to this about how to find your calling or how to know, like, when something resonates as your calling. So Jamin, do you mind? He's like pointing at you. He's like, tell Jamin. Jamin should talk to this.
No problem. Sure. Yeah. Like, so you're not sure what you're passionate about, but I thought what I heard when you called in was that you were so excited. So you followed your passion in this moment, right?
Yeah, I did.
And do you see how it worked out for you?
Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of feel like I tried to go into social work, and then that didn't work out. I kind of just honestly feel like everything that I try, it just, I don't know. I don't want to say I'm not good at it or that I give up too soon, but yeah, I just feel like I'm not good at it.
But you say it, but you're still being that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like you believe something in your core that you're not something, so you're experiencing that. Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
Yeah.
So with that being said, though, which hey, by the way, like if that happens to any of you guys out there, like that's cool. Like it's okay to feel all that. Like make sure you feel this stuff. Make sure you asked what's your spiritual mission. You throw the word spiritual in there. To me, you're on a mission to probably be a healer of some sorts. That would be my take for right when I hear you right away. Yeah. I think you're already aware, and you just don't think you are.
And when you're passionate about it, it won't fade. I promise it won't fade. You have to ground yourself in it, root yourself in it, and it won't fade. You won't become jaded with it. And if you do get jaded with something, and it's hard because then we say, well, I thought I was passionate about it, and then I started doing it, and then it just fizzled out. So you have to ground yourself in it, meaning get to know yourself in it, whatever it may be. If it's healing, if it's social work, whatever it may be, get to know yourself in it. Ground yourself in it to feel, does it really turn on that awareness in the now moment and that passion? Because when you feel that drive, that passion where it's, when you know you're truly aligned in that passion, all the questions dissolve. Like, how am I going to make this work? When is it going to work? All of those questions dissolve, and you begin, really, you don't care. You just know it's going to work because the passion is so much stronger than the questions. So, Erik says first you have to really ground yourself and align with what you're passionate about. But I don't think for you it's going to be anything operational and organized. It seems like you need a little more creative freedom. He says you need more creative leverage, and you're going to be hands-on with people. So whether it's like actually healing, like massage therapy or
Reiki
any kind of energy
or
healing.
Some sort of energy healing modality.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you like people, you connect to them easily, and they trust you easily, and that's a perfect combination for a healer, he says.
Okay.
So, Erik, you think she's a healer?
He says, yeah, Mom, people are naturally drawn to her. People can trust her easily. And it's because it happens at a vibrational level, and he says that's huge for a healer. You may go into, how many times have any of you guys listening gone to like a massage therapist or, to get Reiki, and you're like, ooh, I just don't know about this practitioner. Well, if you're feeling like that, you're not going to receive from them. You're not going to receive anything that's going to contribute to healing from them because you're resisting it. So I think for you, he says that you naturally have that quality, that softness about you that people trust, and they're open. So that's what makes a good channel for healing.
And maybe that's why you went into social working, because, the potential for healing others through social work is immense. But it's just not exactly the avenue you want to go through. Maybe you should work with Jamin. Jamin, how can she get in touch with you?
Oh, yeah. You can get in touch with me on my website, jaminolivencia.com. Just shoot me an email. Anytime you need to talk, for that matter, definitely come give me a contact, and I'll be more than happy to assist you. I want to give you something to try out, though. And if this doesn't work, you personally email me and tell me it doesn't work, but watch it work. Check this out. I want you, starting tomorrow, 5 people, random people you see in your life. I don't care where they are or where you are. Make sure that you make a conscious effort to touch them in a positive way. Once you start doing that, do this for about a month. Once you start doing it, watch the shift happen. Because today was a good example of the start of a shift for you. Because once again, if you're experiencing this moment, then it's for you. So just like you did before you got on the show, you didn't think you were going to get on the thing, but you wanted it, you got it. So here we are now. So understand that each moment right now is literally giving you all the things you need. But try that for about a month, and I promise you'll probably be blown away.
That's interesting, because as a doctor, what I always practiced was before I opened up the exam room to go see a patient, I'll always told myself, I'm not coming out of this room until I make this person's life just at least a little bit better. So everybody you touch, just try to make their life a little bit better.
Yeah.
Right.
Or a lot better, whatever.
Thanks. So would you say, like, before I, incarnated into the earth, like, do you think my plan was to be a healer? Because, I don't know, I just kind of want to get to the point. Like, I don't want to keep trying things and then...
Sure.
Erik says you're not asking that question because you want to know if your potential is to be a healer. You're asking that question because you're afraid of failing. So it's a matter of acknowledging your doubt in that question. So, of course, he could answer your question very easily and say, this wouldn't be the first life that you've been a healer. But that's not what you need to hear. You need to hear how you doubt yourself. And as soon as you can separate from that and just be in the moment is when you manifest magically like you just did to get on the show. So trust in yourself, and I promise you what Jamin just said to you will change everything. When you make it a point to live that way, you shift yourself into a whole new reality where things work in your favor. It's not just cliche. We hear it, we say it all the time, but it's true. It happens. And if you can trust yourself in that as you make those changes and use intention, I promise things will. It's almost funny and it's almost laughable how you're like, are you kidding? That too. Things really start to work in your favor, and it's really cool to watch it happen. So I hope that this helps you. This quick little session helps, and I hope that it inspires you to believe in yourself.
Thanks for calling.
Thank you so much. Thank you all. Bye.
Anytime, sweetie.
Be safe.
Yeah, she's gonna go on and do great things.
She's got it.
Before we close, is there anything else you want to add? And then I want to share Kim's contact information too.
Sure. If you guys want to check out, I do motivational videos on YouTube. Check me out. Please subscribe, like, share. It's Jamin Olivencia channel. You just type that in, and you'll find my videos. And I really appreciate everyone just being open enough to listen to me today. And thank you, Elisa. Thank you, Kim. And thank you, Erik.
You have been awesome. Awesome. And Kim, you can get in touch with her at www.kimbabcock.net. Anything else you want to share before we run into the next show accidentally?
Just a quick reminder, guys, I'll be coming out to California. You guys asked for it, so check it out on my website. I'll be coming out to Laguna Beach to connect with you guys in person. But until then, I'll see you on the blog, on YouTube, and on my website. So we look forward to seeing you then. And check out channelingeric.com. We will find you guys there.
All right, people, good night. Have a lovely rest of the week and weekend. And thank you again, Jamin. You're so inspirational. I really appreciate you. I value what you have to say so much.
Everyone's amazing. You guys are amazing. Love you all.
Love you, everybody.
Have a good night, guys.
Bye. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Kim. I love you, Erik.
Always.
In case you forgot.
I know you do, Mom. He says, I love you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye, all.